Hey there, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. Shazetta. I pray you guys are doing well. Just wanted to hop on for a minute. I picked up a new book today. My son had a field trip at the African Art Museum here in DC. We'd never been, and so it was really cool. Like, I knew about the African American History Museum, but the African Art Museum was really, really nice. Um, and when we left there, we went and got a slice of pizza. And while we were at the pizzeria, I realized that I had left my house keys at home and that my husband was not at home. Therefore, we were locked out. And he was at a doctor's appointment, so it would be a while. So I decided to Uber to the Barnes and Noble that's near our house because while it's not freezing outside, it's too cold to be sitting outside. And I was walking around looking for books on slow living. So, if you know anything about me, you know that I've been on kind of this minimalist journey for quite a few years now, right? Where I go kind of through these cycles where I do decluttering and simple, right, accoutrement, if you will, in the house. Um, for me, minimalism and simplicity is a place where I thrive. Although there are some places and spaces where I think I have a more maximalist aesthetic in some moments, in some seasons, but most of all, returning to minimalism and its principles um, is what has stuck. A part of that for me has brought about, right, this real desire for slow living. Um, Slow living meaning intentional mindfulness in how we move and not being rushed. And slow living has really become for me synonymous with self care. I have taken the posture that if I have to rush to do a thing or to be a place, then I must not, or I absolutely do not actually have time for the thing. And as I'm navigating through this season, I'm finding myself more and more needing to lean into slow mornings, right? Needing to lean into slow days. And that doesn't mean that I'm not productive. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing anything. It means that I'm being intentional about the things that I am doing and I'm being honest with myself about the things that must be done in a given day versus the thing that can be moved to a later time with little or no consequence. And without throwing myself or others into crisis. And as I've done that, I'm finding more and more that most things that I've always treated as critically necessary at a given moment, that most things can wait a day or two or 10 without causing harm. And so as I've entered into this kind of different season, right, this progression, evolving seasons, right, um, I am looking to more intentionally lean into this idea of slow living and realizing that it's very possible that that means big changes for me, right? Personally, professionally, all the things, right? And that can be unsettling because you reach a place of stability or relative stability, and even if that stability is steeped in or dependent upon your nervous system being all over the place or dependent on even if that stability is dependent upon dysfunction. Sometimes we remain committed to it because we would rather know and be able to anticipate dysfunction and the stability that it brings rather than diving out into the deep to get to a place where we are not in dysfunction, that our stability is rooted in peace and wellness and wholeness. And I feel like I've been on this roller coaster, right, of that over the years, each year, each season, removing one thing, removing another thing, or layer, another layer, another layer. And now finally getting to a place where, after deprogramming and peeling back so many layers and releasing right, myself from the expectations of others and the perceived expectations of others that I placed on myself, that now I'm ready to begin the work of building, right, the healthy, whole life and environment that I've always longed for and desired, but without really caring at this juncture what others might think or say or how peculiar it might seem. And so I am in search of books and documentaries and all the things of people who have seen and done this or who are doing it. And it's interesting because not a whole lot of the people that I'm seeing who are published, whether it is written in books, self published, content creation, not a whole lot of those people who are living pieces of the life that I'm envisioning for myself or for my family and my loved ones, most of them don't look like me. Very few of them are black or brown women. Very few of them are black or brown people, but certainly very few of them are black or brown women. And so, two things. If you know of black and brown women or black and brown people who are leaning into this idea of slow, intentional, mindful living, drop that down in the comments. But really, any books and literature and content and documentaries and film or just information that you have around it is very much welcome. But all that to say, at the bookstore today, I picked up a new book. And this book is called Work Like a Monk, a Buddhist Guide to Embracing What Matters. I know some of y'all extra safe folks are going to say, I can't believe you're reading a book by a Buddhist monk. Listen, I have been infatuated with monastic living for a very long time because there is something about the peace that follows, right? The Buddhist monks and nuns that I've encountered, or the monastics that I've encountered. There is a settled sense of contentment and of peace that accompanies them, right? We read the psalm that says, surely goodness and mercy will follow me. Peace follows them. And so for me, there is something to be learned by observing them. There's something to be learned by studying them. There's something to be learned by perhaps sitting at their feet and spending time among them. And so I am excited to read this book, Work Like a Monk, a Buddhist Guide to Embracing What Matters. Not a very thick book, but I'm excited to dive into this. So I wanted to invite you all, if you haven't read it, or if you're interested in reading it, or if you have read it, drop down in the comments and let me know. This is a continued part of my preparing for and processing through this next season of my life. I love y'all. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I hope you'll drop down and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button and join and become a part of this kind of well life community with me, man. I love y'all. We'll talk soon.